What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to TRU Raider Podcast. I am your host, TRU Raider. Now, I am not breaking any news, at all. I was at work today. I'm sitting there in this orientation, and I just happened to open up my phone, and boom, there's Adam Schefter saying the Las Vegas Raiders have fired head coach Antonio Pierce. And I was like, shit, man, I wish I could go live right now. And so once I got a chance, I went to my car and made a quick video. Posted it earlier, just got home from work now, jumping on with y'all because I want to see what you guys have to say about the Las Vegas Raiders moving on from head coach Antonio Pierce. Now, I know it's probably been all over the place. I haven't really gotten to watch much content about what's going on, what the news is. But what I see is that Tom Brady, now being a minority owner with the Las Vegas Raiders, had the opportunity to come in here because Antonio Pierce was part of that Giants team that won the Super Bowl that totally destroyed Tom Brady's perfect season, right? The Patriots had a perfect season, went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Giants. And now Tom Brady got to hand Antonio Pierce his L. But in all seriousness, man, Brian's over here saying, I want Pete Carroll, not going to lie. I'm not too against that. He's definitely up there in age, right? But what it's looking like to me right now is that they know that they have options. They have to know that they have options in order to make this move because, let's face it, Antonio Pierce, he didn't get the full opportunity to really show us what he could do, right? He wanted Jaden Daniels. He wanted Cliff Kingsbury. Those things were a pipe dream. Wasn't about to make it happen. Wasn't able to make that happen. Irv with the follow, salute. And, since that was not able to happen, he ended up with Garner Minshew and Luke Getsy. Now, the most respect that I've had for Antonio Pierce throughout this whole season was in that last presser. Brian with the follow, salute. He went on in this last presser and he basically said that he didn't follow his gut. And since he didn't follow his gut, Garner Minshew got the start, right? And that was the thing that was bugging me this whole time because it was very, very clear that Antonio Pierce wanted Aiden O'Connell. And he did not go that route, And there was a video that I shared a couple of days ago, man, where it was the press conference where he said it was a decision. Boogie with the follow, salute. It was a decision between Antonio Pierce, Tom Telesco, and Luke Getsy on who was going to be the starting quarterback. And basically he got outvoted, And so there's a couple of coaching options moving forward, right? There's a couple of coaching options. And before we talk about that, I wanted to read this real quick. And, for those of you on TikTok, I'm sorry I can't share it there. Damn, looks like I can't share it here either. Where the hell did that window go? So, there we go. All right. So, the post from Adam Schefter said, another change in Las Vegas. Raiders fired head coach Antonio Pierce per source. Raiders now have gone from John Gruden, who resigned in 2021, to Josh McDaniels, who was fired in 2023, to firing Pierce in 2025. Now, this is a different head coach every 2 years, you guys. A different head coach every 2 years. That is just crazy. Ricky with the follow, salute, man, salute. Darren, winning those 2 games at the end of the year helped seal his fate. And I think that you're exactly right on that, right? Because I feel like there's the other Q with the follow, salute. There was 2 situations where I really feel like Antonio Pierce stood a chance at keeping his job. And one of those was for him to start Aiden O'Connell, follow his gut, as he said, right? Raider Chop with the follow, salute. If he had followed his gut and he started Aiden O'Connell, right? Like, because he came in as an interim and he didn't give a shit about all the outside noise. He didn't give a shit about all that was going on. He came in shouting Raiders and just ready to friggin' roll, right? And he came in and did that. 345 OJ with the follow, salute. Mike Henderson with the follow, salute. And then, he came in and he was just animated and he was ready to roll. And he just did what he thought needed to be done. And it looked successful and it looked good. And then he came in. Thank you for sharing the live, Brad. He came in and he listened to too many outside people, right? He had too many cooks in the kitchen, all these people in his ear, and he second guessed himself and he didn't do what he thought was right. And if he had come in and if he had actually done what he thought was right, I think he could have kept his job. The second situation that I feel like he could have actually kept his job is if he had gone ahead and done what the rest of us had already surrendered to. That the Raiders were just losing and losing and losing, and we were having a horrible year. And I started being on Team Tank. And the reason why I started being on Team Tank is because it really made me believe that this whole year wasn't for nothing, right? Because if we were actually trying to win games all season, then what the heck is happening in Vegas? Because that is some crap. That is some crap. So apparently they were actually trying to win some games, right? And we went out there and we won 2 stupid, meaningless games. And because that happened, and I know Mark Davis was saying he wanted to win out, but of course he was saying that because there's Raider fans in games holding Tank for Shedeur Sanders signs and all this stuff. And the heat was on him. And since the heat was on Mark Davis, he's going to go out there and say, yes, I want to win. Antonio Pierce went out there and they won those 2 games and they made it to where they couldn't easily get Shedeur Sanders, right? Because if Antonio Pierce could be like, look, I didn't have my coordinator, I didn't have my quarterback, but now I got us the number 1 or number 2 pick. We're going to get Shedeur Sanders and boom, and that's how I'm going to keep my job. But he didn't do that either. So Antonio Pierce went out there and he lost himself the job. B. Burke with the follow, salute. I'm not keeping up with you guys. I'm going to try. Let's see. Beer, I knew he was gone when he punted against the Chargers in their first meeting. That first game against the Chargers, man, it was very, very clear. The writing was on the wall. This was going to be a horrible season, and I just really, really hoped that we're going to be able to turn it around, man. Brian Lance, what's good? What's good over here on YouTube? I like AP, but I think he was in over his head. Hire Vrabel or Ben Johnson. So it was very clear, man, that Antonio Pierce, man, as soon as he walked in this year, you could just see the confidence was shook. It just wasn't there. Salute Raider Ryan, one of the moderators. Dude, and it was just like the confidence was not there, and it did not look the same. It did not look, we weren't picking up where we left off last year. We were picking up in some new, like, playing to try not to lose kind of mentality. He wasn't coming in here with this, I'm gonna just come crashing through the NFL and leave my mark. It was not that at all. It was very, very clear. George, brother, I think they should have kept him. He needed another chance to show he can make this team great. And I like what they, and I'm gonna go ahead and share this over here on YouTube, man. If it'll let me pull up the screen, man. This thing's being dumb. But yeah, what it says over here, it was the social media post from the Las Vegas Raiders, and it says the Las Vegas Raiders have relieved Antonio Pierce of his duties as head coach. We appreciate Antonio's leadership, first as an interim head coach and this past season as the head coach. Antonio grew up a Raiders fan, and his silver and black roots run deep. We are grateful for his ability to reignite what it means to be a Raider throughout the entire organization. We wish nothing but the best for Antonio and his family in the future. And that's where it is, right? It's like that is what he was actually good at, right? Is being able to reignite his ability to reignite what it means to be a Raider throughout the entire organization, right? But does that equate being a good head coach? No, it does not, right? And so, like, I really wish instead of him being a head coach that there was some kind of way for him to have been that for the Raiders, right? To reignite that passion for the Raiders while somebody who actually knows how to coach is the coach. Because let's face it, Antonio Pierce had no experience, he had no resume. Like, I mean, I think being a linebackers coach was his first job in the NFL, right? He did not have it, man. Raider Ryan, our team is so behind the rest of the NFL. We embarrassed our coach in front of the nation, allowed him to do his press conference knowing he was fired. Very classy Raiders. Now, they might not have actually known at that point, but I think they did. So, if you guys know who Raider D is, if you don't, go to YouTube, find Raider D podcast. Awesome dude, right? And he was saying that the people that he knows inside the building had said that Mike Vrabel was actually going to be meeting with Mark Davis on Monday, right? And it's not an official interview. He was meeting with Mark Davis on Monday. And I think that what they were doing is he was trying to get a pulse on, like, is Mike Vrabel actually a viable option before we move on from Antonio Pierce, right? And I think that what happened was he started getting wind of, like, you know what, this might be a viable option. Let me try to catch up on the chat over here on TikTok, man. I'm slacking. Let's see. I do want to say real quick though, because Brian brought up hire Vrabel or Ben Johnson. Now, where I have stood, right, because I really like Antonio Pierce, right? I do. I don't think that he gives us the best chance at winning. But if you look at Dan Campbell with the Lions, his first year, he only won 3 games. Antonio Pierce won 4. I believed that if he got some proper pieces in place, that maybe we could, get better moving forward. But I don't want to put all this on a maybe, right? What I really want is somebody who is experienced, somebody who's going to be able to be that guy, right? And so I've been saying, if we can upgrade at head coach, we must, right? We absolutely must. So if Ben Johnson or Mike Vrabel are on the table, then we absolutely have to move on from Antonio Pierce. And they fired him, right? And I hope that it's not the damn Derek Carr situation where Josh McDaniels moved on from Derek Carr and he didn't actually have anything lined up. He thought he had Tom Brady. Tom Brady retired, and then he went, oh shit, and he called up Derek Carr and he said, hey, sorry, psych, can you come back? And Derek Carr said, no, I'm not doing that. And so then they move forward with Jimmy Garoppolo, right? I would hate to see the Raiders be in a position where we don't have any clue what we're going to do at head coach, and then we just take a stab, whoever we can get. I would hate that. So I really, really hope that Mark Davis, Tom Brady, Tom Telesco, that these guys have a good idea on who they want to bring in. Let me see real quick. Just Win Daily, what's good? What's good? I'm going to try to catch up. Dang, I'm getting behind. Just Win Daily. So you're happy AP gone? At this point, I don't know if I'm happy that AP is gone, because it's not like Josh McDaniels, right? When Josh McDaniels was fired, it was like early Christmas, man. It was a celebration. I was so happy, right? I can't remember the last time I was that happy as a Raider. I was more happy when Josh McDaniels got fired than when we picked up Devontae Adams, right? And I was really happy about that. But, as far as Devontae Adams go, he can whatever, right? But yeah, I'm not celebrating that Antonio Pierce is gone, because I like Antonio Pierce. He's seems like a good dude. I like what he was doing in some aspects, but the thing that makes me kind of excited and hopeful is that there might be a plan moving forward to get us out of the dumps, to get us out of the damn dumps. And that's what I really, really want. Pete Carroll. So you guys were talking about Pete Carroll, right? And getting Pete Carroll, I mean, he was a Super Bowl winning coach, right? He's old. He is very, very old, and he's old school. So I don't really know how that will really, really translate. Do I think he's an upgrade from Antonio Pierce? I do. Raider Chop, just hope Mad Max stays now. If Mad Max leaves, it's not because Antonio Pierce is gone. Max Crosby does not have any more guaranteed money. Max Crosby is looking for another contract. And I really think that the best thing that we could do in this situation is just go ahead and give him, you know, probably a 3-year contract, honestly, like a 3-year contract with some guaranteed money in there, maybe an out on year 4 or something, like, because Max Crosby is still in his prime, man. And I really would like for us to have a coach that makes him sit out on some snaps. There's a reason why TJ Watt doesn't play every snap. There's a reason why Micah Parsons doesn't play every snap. There's a reason why these guys don't go out there and do that. Because when you go out there and do that, have you guys ever played Madden? Right? Like, what happens if you don't sub out your players? Your players start to get hurt. What happens if you don't rest them? They start to get hurt, right? And so that's what's going to start happening to Max Crosby if he doesn't learn how to rest. Plus, if he could actually rest, then he'd be in a position where, the snaps that he has would be worth more, right? Sometimes it's about the quality instead of the quantity. Danny's 80s, he should have never been hired. I think that what happened with Antonio Pierce is that they were really caught up on the fact of Rich Bisaccia, right? And Mark Davis caught so much shit for not keeping Rich Bisaccia, and then going with Josh McDaniels went horribly wrong. And so since that went so bad, he listened to the players this time, right? But this is a two-sided sword, right? Because on one side of this, it's like he listens to the players and it didn't go well. But he's like, you know what? I listened to y'all, right? And then on the other side, he's like, look, I listened to y'all and this did not go well. So don't tell me how to do my job. You know what I'm saying? And Max Crosby actually said today that he was not going to meddle. He was not going to get in Mark Davis's ear and Tom Brady's ear about this whole situation, that he was going to stay out of it, right? And I think it's that he knew what was happening and he's not going to try to force anybody's hand. And I respect that, right? I respect that Max Crosby would take that stance, because I don't think that he should have been fighting for AP that much, Let's see. I'm going to hit YouTube real quick, you guys. I'm going to bounce back and forth. Raider Ryan, as the rest of the NFL was making moves yesterday and running circles around us. And I wonder if it's like that we're not making moves fast enough and things like that, or if there's more strategy to this, right? And being in a position where we're actually taking our time and trying to actually make the proper moves, make sure that the proper things are lined up. Because ideally, Ben Johnson would be the guy to get right now, right? Absolutely. Out of anybody that could potentially even be close to being on the table, Ben Johnson is the best, right? And he is probably going to the Super Bowl, right? And best case scenario is the Lions win the Super Bowl, and then Ben Johnson is up for grabs as a head coach, right? And he doesn't go back to the Lions. Crazy. John Gruden comeback season? God, no. John Gruden was like one of the worst talent evaluators ever. If John Gruden came back in here, we'd probably get Derek Carr back, and then we'd run it back to where, and Brock Bowers would probably have an amazing season, because Derek Carr does this thing where he chooses one receiver and then he just throws that person the ball over and over and over again, and he doesn't know how to throw to anybody else. Did I like Derek Carr? Yes. Do I think that going back to Derek Carr is a great idea? No. So Cameron, what it comes down to is taking John Gruden back a third time is like taking a shit and then shoving it back up your, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, just wipe and be done. We need something new. Let's see. Raiders will get Pete Carroll and draft Genty and get Kirk Cousins in free agency. You might not be wrong with that, Jody Joe. That's a high possibility. Ashton Genty is good, but he's got a lot of miles on him, and somebody had that many carries, I have a feeling he's going to get hurt right away. Let's see. Yeah, if they didn't know, then that is even more embarrassing that our team is reactive, not proactive like other teams. Raider Ryan, you hit the nail on the head with that one, man, because that is what the Raiders have been doing, right? Being reactive, not proactive, and then just being in a situation where, you know, we end up asked out because we are just reacting to the situation, man. Um, Liam Cohen from the Bucks, the offensive coordinator for the Bucks. I mean, he's really helped revitalize Baker Mayfield's career, and I think that that's going to be somebody who's on the table for head coaches. So there's still a couple of these potential guys that could come and interview for a job that are still in the playoff, you know, and so we need to let that play out, really go the full route and finding out, you know, what we're doing. Let's see. Chad, you guys should have grabbed Harbaugh last year. I don't believe that Harbaugh was even available to us. I think that the Chargers was his only destination, and that was it. Rico, I don't know if you were here when we talked about this, but classless move by the Raiders. AP had the press conference on Black Monday. Why send him out there in front of the media? I wish AP the best. Yeah, man. I mean, you know what it comes down to is that like it was weird after that press conference. I really, really actually thought, like, you know what? Maybe AP's actually going to have another year, which I thought was like, I didn't think that that was really what was going to happen because, like, earlier in the year, I thought Antonio Pierce has like an 80% chance of keeping his job. And then as we got closer and closer to the end of the season, it was like he has like a 20% chance of keeping his job, you know? Um, and it got weird, man. So, Mr. Reno, Sanders will draft his son. That is another avenue that might be open right now, is that Sanders might actually be Deion Sanders might actually be a potential head coach candidate right now. There was that interview with Ice Cube where, you know, they were talking about it, and you know, the they didn't actually say like, yes, Deion Sanders wants to come to the NFL and he wants to coach the Raiders, but it was like insinuated, you know, and there was a lot of smoke on that, you know. Um okay, Raider Ryan saying 3 years, 100 million for Max Crosby. I'd be good with that, honestly. Max Crosby, he motivates that defense so much, and his lack of production, I think, is really part of two things, right? One of them is he's not getting all those sacks because he hasn't had the help. We tried to get him the help this year. Malcolm Kuntz went out with an injury before the season even started. Christian Wilkins went out with an injury a couple weeks later. But he looked really good with Christian Wilkins there. And the other factor is that he takes too many snaps. He's out there for way too many snaps, and so yes, he's there for every play, but I don't think he's at 100% every play. I think Max Crosby, he gives so much that it seems like he's out there 100% for every play, but he's probably running at 70-80% on every play. And if he actually would sit out on some snaps, which if we end up, you know, actually building this line around him and giving him a good option to kind of maybe Clavion Chason or somebody like that could swap out with him at least occasionally, right? At least a couple of snaps a game to let him rest a little bit. That way he's actually going at more like 90 to 100%. Brian with the follow salute. Um, let's see. No name, what's good, man? I'm back. Remember when I was screaming about firing Luke Getzey? You were not wrong, man. You were not wrong. You were not wrong. Hey, yo, Gunsmoke, salute one of the moderators. What's up with the so? What's going on, dude? How you doing? Um, Yeah, 818, good dude doesn't equal wins. And that's exactly what it comes down to, right? Because right before I went live, my wife asked me, she's like, so how do you actually feel about Antonio Pierce getting fired? And I told her that, you know what? I really, really liked Antonio Pierce, but I don't see a clear path moving forward where we actually start winning with him as our coach. And that is really all I need to know. And if that's what Mark Davis and Tom Brady and Tom Telesco, if that's what these guys see as well, like, look, we like this dude, we like what he's doing for the culture, but we don't see a clear path of actually winning with him, then why bother? Why hold on to that, you know? Pete Carroll's on his deathbed. Joe, you're not wrong, man. He's old as shit, man. You know, I think my grandma was his age when we stopped letting her drive. You know what I'm saying? The Fat Hokage, the best head coach option is Jesse Minter if he's taking off. Who's Jesse Minter? I don't even know who that is, man. Gunsmoke. I these two guys are the building blocks of our team, right? He said, just keep Bowers and Max by giving them big money. Everyone else gets evaluated. And thankfully, Bowers is still on a rookie deal. So we got plenty of years, so we have to deal with that. You pay Max Crosby now, and you won't have to pay Brock Bowers until Max Crosby's contract is up. You know, it that totally makes sense to me, man. Let's see. Cisco Rodriguez, is it true that Brady will pick the next coach and QB? I don't know if Brady's going to pick the coach. I think he probably will, but he's definitely, Mark Davis already said that he's going to have a big hand in who our next quarterback's going to be and football operations in general, right? Because what it comes down to is Mark Davis doesn't know shit about football. He's made some good decisions for business, right? To bring the Raiders money, but he hasn't made good decisions for the fans and he hasn't made good decisions for the team. And so he's been trying to get somebody, and that's why John Gruden had so much power, and that's why all this, like, it's just been this shit show. That's why Josh McDaniels didn't stay in his lane and he didn't let us get CJ Stroud when geez, I'm blanking his name, man. What was the GM with the that was with Josh McDaniels? It doesn't even matter at this point, right? He didn't want to let us get CJ Stroud, even though there was a deal on the table. And so, yeah, you know, Brady being in there and actually making some football decisions is just exactly what Mark Davis has been looking for. He wants somebody to make these decisions so he doesn't have to, because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, man. Uh, Fast Eddie, Vrabel will be the next coach of the Patriots. And that's the writing's pretty much on the wall because Mike Vrabel said he wanted specific things, right? He said he wanted a good quarterback. Well, the Raiders, as much as I like AOC, he's not a very good quarterback. He has some potential to have some upside, but he's not it, right? And so Drake May is definitely better than Aiden O'Connell, without question. And then he said that he wants a team that has a lot of free cap space. Well, the Raiders have $108 million worth of free cap space. That's great, right? The Patriots have $138 million worth of freed up cap space. So, boom, Patriots look better in two areas. And then the third thing he said was he wanted high draft picks. Patriots are drafting higher than the Raiders. So we really, by getting those two wins against the Jaguars and the Saints, put us to be a very undesirable destination because we're picking number 6 and we don't have a quarterback. We need a quarterback and we're drafting at number 6, right? Thank you all that are liking the video. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Firing coaches ain't our answer. Marcel, you are not wrong. We keep firing coaches and firing coaches, but we're at this point where, you know, I saw this post, man, and it showed like all these teams that had fired coaches and then the next year ended up in the playoffs, right? And so it's like, okay, maybe if we land the right guy, then we'll, you know, because let's face it, Antonio Pierce, just like how he said that Aiden O'Connell didn't do enough during the offseason to win the job, and so it went to Gardner Minshew. Antonio Pierce did not do enough to keep his job. And that's what it comes down to. He did not do enough to prove to us that he was the answer. Derek, what about that young coach in Notre Dame? There's a couple of college coordinators and coaches that are trying to get into the NFL that that may be the answer because you get young talent that's fresh, that's ambitious, that knows how the game is growing versus a Pete Carroll who's already, I mean, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? So I don't, yeah, man. I'm getting sounds on my earbuds, so if my sound goes out on TikTok, you guys gotta let me know. Um, Gunsmoke, I don't care if he's on a rookie here. Give that man a bonus or something. Let's reward greatness and make that our new standard. Brock Bowers is definitely becoming a staple of the organization, and he's going to reap the rewards of this season. What I worry about is that it's not like he's going to just be able to move up and up and up and up and up. He had such a phenomenal rookie season that he's probably gonna be trying to get to that each year, and probably not hitting, hopefully probably not hitting those numbers, because if he continues to hit those numbers, it means one of two things. Either he is just that fucking dude and he's just pulling it off, or that there's not really much options besides him and they just have to go to him with the ball. We need it. Jacoby Myers is a great receiver, but I don't know. I'm not really sold that he's receiver number one. Baby T with the follow, salute. Damn, dude, I'm really behind over here on TikTok. Bobby with the follow, salute, salute. Oscar, John Gruden gave us Max Crosby. You're not wrong about that. You are not wrong. I'm try to catch up a little bit, you guys. So if you guys put in a comment and I'm just missing it, hit me up again. I'll do my best. Renee B. Trade Crosby for some picks. He is beyond frustrated, and we have done him no damn justice. If we were ever going to move on from Max Crosby, it would be right now. And the reason why it would be right now is because he's got no more guaranteed money. He's still in his prime. He's young enough that it would be worthy. Like we would get good compensation for him, because what we don't want to do is wait and then next year we're losing again and Max Crosby says F this, I want out. Because if that happens, then it's going to be like Devontae Adams all over again. Let's see. Because right now I think that we could get at least a first and a second for Crosby. But I don't think that it's really, because what are we going to do? Move on from Crosby for Shedeur Sanders? Because, okay, quarterback has more of an impact on the game than an edge rusher, right? That's just a fact. But is Shedeur Sanders really, really good enough that it's worth doing that? Like, if we're going to do that, it's like we should have just moved him to get Jaden Daniels. You know what I'm saying? Danny 80's prime time is coming. Yes, that's a possibility. It really, really is, actually. User with the follow, salute. Let's see. Damn, man. The Cinema Escape with the follow, salute, salute. What's good? Alex Mendoza, what do you think of Cliff Kingsbury? That was another name that started getting floated about, if, because Cliff Kingsbury was a head coach with the Cardinals and he didn't do good over there. And so then he ended up dropping down to college football, and then he got an opportunity to come back to the NFL. He interviewed with us. He was going to take the job, found out we weren't going to get a quarterback, and he said, no, I'm not risking my career on this. Went over there to the Commanders, got Jaden Daniels, and they're in the playoffs. So Cliff Kingsbury could be looking at a head coaching position, but I think that Cliff Kingsbury is going to need more time to prove himself in the NFL before anybody really takes him seriously as a NFL head coach. What about Brian Flores as coach? Angus, I would maybe I wouldn't be super mad, but I wouldn't really be super confident either. It would be kind of like as if we got Patrick Graham And I hope that they at least give Patrick Graham an interview, because right now what's going on with Patrick Graham, our defensive coordinator, is he is set to interview with the Bengals for their defensive coordinator position, and he's set to interview with the Jaguars as their head coach. And I would hope that we at least give Patrick Graham an interview for head coach. Even if we don't hire him, give him an interview. You know what I'm saying? He's already been in the building. He's proven himself to be a good defensive coordinator. I would feel about as confident with Brian Flores being our head coach as I would with Patrick Graham, where it's like, well, yeah, he's a good defensive coordinator, but how's this going to really turn out? And I know Brian Flores has already been a head coach, but I don't know, man. I do not know. Let's see. John W. Losing AP is stupid as hell. AOC is decent. Oh, is a decent QB, but it's not worth. Oh, it's not what Vrabel is looking for, and that's exactly what's going on, right? Is I don't think that that's what he's looking for. And I don't think anybody in their right mind that's putting their career on the line, because how many opportunities do you really, really get in this world to get a job like that, right? To get a job as an NFL head coach. And so you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to fail and then maybe never get a NFL job again. Like Antonio Pierce is probably going to struggle to get a job in the NFL unless the Giants take a flyer on him, Um, so yeah, man, they want to land in a good situation. Luis, what's going on, man? Hey, bro, we need Pete Carroll. Him and Jim Harbaugh have been battling since college, so I can see that. Imagine all these great in the AFC, and he can beat Harbaugh USC at Stanford. The problem with Pete Carroll is, for one, he's so old, right? But then if you look at Andy Reid, Sean Payton, um, Jim Harbaugh, and Pete Carroll, all of us would have very good head coaches, right? But where would you rank Pete Carroll in the AFC West if that's the case? Tony, what's going on, man? Ron Rivera. Who is Ron Rivera? I feel like I know this name, but it's not Ron Rivera. Former player. Is he coaching right now? Where's he at? He became head coach and was twice named NFL Coach of the Year with the Panthers. Where's he at now, though? I don't want to spend too much time trying to read up on this. He was fired by Washington after the 2023 season, and now he's an analyst. See, and after Washington fired him, then all of a sudden, they're doing well and they're in the playoffs. So I don't know, man. He was the one that got them that second overall pick. Another person that's being floated, Richie B, right? I'd rather have Richie B, honestly, than Pete Carroll. Yeah, I mean, and I don't think that that's the right way to go. Robert Hernandez with the follow, salute. Let's see. And the whole thing that we should be worried about now is, are we looking to hire the person that we're going to fire in 2 years? Jesse with the follow, salute. We got another user with the follow, salute. Let's see. Jackson Dart. So Jackson Dart, you guys ever just heard the name of an NFL player and been like, that dude is going to be legit, right? And there's certain names like that, right? And I don't want to, this is not a comparison between the players, but when you hear the name Joe Montana, right? When I was a kid and I heard the name Joe Montana, I'm like, yeah, of course he's good, right? And I'm not saying Jackson Dart's going to be anywhere near that, right? But the name Jackson Dart, and I haven't watched enough tape on him, right? But the name just sticks out to me like that sounds like an NFL quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, that dude throws darts, but I don't know what that's really, really going to look like. I've watched a little bit of tape on him, not enough to really have a full judgment, but yeah, I mean, I feel like Jackson Dart's one of those dudes that's going to move up people's draft boards after the combine. Luis, and what about our QB situation? Why isn't anybody talking about Will Howard from Ohio State? Big, strong arm, and he can use his legs. Fast guy. I haven't watched any tape on him. I have heard his name pop up a little bit here and there, but I mean, really, Drew Alar, if he ends up coming out in the draft, is probably going to be our best option. Another thing is that there's so many people that have said that these, Cam Ward and Shador Sanders, that they're not even giving them a first round grade. And so since that's, how people are feeling about it, it could be that these guys don't go number 1 and number 2 or number 3. It could be that, because the Titans, they're saying that they're sticking with Will Levis, which is a stupid decision. If you're going to pick number 1 overall, you might as well go ahead and get a better quarterback, right? Because both these quarterbacks are better than Will Levis. But if they don't, and they decide we want to get Travis Hunter, then the Browns, they still have Deshaun Watson, and they just restructured his contract. But I don't think that he's their answer. They benched him, and they've been playing their second and third string quarterbacks. So it's kind of in their best interest to get a quarterback, right? But if they don't, the Giants are for sure getting a quarterback. So let's say the Giants are the only ones picking before us that end up getting a quarterback. It could be that one of these quarterbacks falls to us at 6. I do not want to give up draft capital to get these guys. Now, if we move up 1 or 2 spots, maybe if it doesn't cost us an arm and a leg, but it's probably going to. Arnaldo with the follow. Salute. Let's see. Jason Fritz, we need a running back. I like Scatterboot, man. I've been watching some tape on Scatterboot. I like that dude. Albert G with the follow. Salute. Tom, Raiders need some consistency. Loved AP. I will tell you what, the Raiders do have consistency. We consistently suck. We consistently make the wrong decisions, and that pisses me off. We really had a year when that whole thing happened with John Gruden and Henry Ruggs and all that, where I really thought like we are going to lead the AFC West this year. And we were on track for that. And then all of a sudden our season starts falling apart. And we just really haven't been able to put it back together since, Really been stupid, honestly. Let's see. Gunsmoke. I'm pretty sure whoever we get next is going to be here for 3 to 5. That sounded like a stent. So 3 to 5. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. So we need to do that, right? We need to be able to choose a coach that's actually going to be able to stick around, that's actually going to be here for a little bit, right? Because, this revolving door is awful, man. It's really, really awful. And I hate that. Mike with the follow, where you get that hat? I don't even know where I got this hat, man. I really like this hat. It's like and it's starting to get old on me, man. And I want another one, and I don't remember where I found it, dude. Let's see. Cardos, most L's in the last 30. I think the Browns still have us beat, but not by much. I think that stat that was going around was actually in 20 years, but I don't know. Anthony, what's good, man? Salute. Glad you're in the building. I don't know. You're getting a lot of my thoughts, so I don't know what thoughts you're actually looking for. Okay, Tanner Jack said a lot of scouts think he's going to go number 1, but a lot of scouts also don't think he's going to go in the first round. So it's really conflicting information that we're getting. But you have a good point, Tanner Jack. No way Prime lets his kid go to the Browns. And that's a big one, right? Because what I've been hearing is that the Giants are more sold on Cam Ward. And so let's say that we live in a world where Deion Sanders holds to his word, where he said he's not going to just let his kid go to a bad situation, right? And so with the threat of pulling an Eli Manning all of a sudden Shador Sanders falls past the Browns, and then the Giants go and get Cam Ward, and then all of a sudden we got the Patriots and we got the Jaguars who already have their quarterbacks. Could be that he falls to us. Could be. Could be. Oh, is that what you're saying, Tanner? Is that people are saying that Jackson Dart goes in the first? Or what are you saying, Tanner? Let me know. Luis, so there's still a chance we get Sanders or Ward, you think? Oh yeah, I just talked about that. But yeah, Tanner, let me know what you think, man. Let me catch up over here on TikTok, man. Um Jason, Mark is letting Tom make his moves. Hopefully, we don't get McDaniels 2.0. Yeah, I really, really hope that we do not. Mike Adams, Brian Flores is a lateral move from AP. I agree with you on that. Tinny Patrick, follow, salute, salute. What's good? Geo can't trust the Patriots, huh? Yeah, I know, man. I still got resentments, man. Tom Brady was on my fourth step, bro. Uh Alex with the follow, salute, salute. Albert, why do we keep losing to the Chargers? That makes me so upset. We've been the last couple of years splitting it with the Chargers, but this year, man, Jim Harbaugh just outcoached AP, and that's what it came down to, man. I mean, you're not going to be beating Justin Herbert when you got Garner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. Oh, okay. So Tanner, you're saying that you believe Jackson Dart will be the first QB off the board. That is an interesting take, and the dude, he kind of seems like a dog. But the little bit that I've watched, I see some inconsistencies that look like he needs a lot of work. But if Jackson Dart goes first off the board with quarterbacks, then that puts us in a position where Cam Ward or Shador Sanders becomes a viable option. And then I don't know what we end up doing at that point. Could be very interesting. Star Fox with the Raiders. Still shouting it. What's good? Let's see. Yeah, Star Fox, the game has passed Pete by. I agree with you on that, man. I really, really do. All right, Anthony. Somebody said we rebuilding, dude. How many times we rebuilt since moving to Vegas? I'm really, really getting tired of it. Just start winning consistently. Is that too hard to ask? So we never left construction, man. We never stopped rebuilding. When you have a question mark at coach, when you have a question mark at coordinator, when you got a question mark at GM, when you got a question mark at quarterback, when you have all these things, like, you're not going anywhere. Not going to go anywhere until you solidify the things that mean the most. So, one of the things that's a problem in our franchise is our owner, right? And everybody says, oh, he needs to sell. Well, he did. He sold some shares. And now we got Tom Brady going to come in here and make some decisions. Now, hopefully, he doesn't end up being like a Michael Jordan owning the Hornets kind of thing, right? Hopefully, Tom Brady can actually bring some good decisions to this franchise. And then we got Tom Telesco. Now, Tom Telesco is the first legitimate GM that we've had since Al Davis died. So there's another good move. Now we need a coach, hopefully one that calls offensive plays. That way we don't get a coordinator that's doing great and then ends up leaving for a head coaching job, right? Hopefully we can just get a coach that calls the offense, and then like a Ben Johnson would be great. And then we need a quarterback. If we get those pieces in place, then all of a sudden we can start having some real building that happens and some real consistency in our franchise. Yeah, Anthony, our division isn't getting easy. We need a big name coach with track record and a competitive quarterback. And we absolutely need that, or else we're going to be in the basement for years to come, because the Broncos, that Peyton Manning and not Peyton Manning, what the Sean Payton and Bo Nix combination it's working. It is working. Bo Nix is a rookie that was projected to be a second day pick. They picked him in the first round. He became their starter right away. And led them to the playoffs. Now they barely squeaked in, right? They barely squeaked into the playoffs, but they are in the playoffs. And then we got Jim Harbaugh with Justin Herbert, and they're doing pretty damn good. And then of course you got the stupid Chiefs. Jack Del Rio, no, 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 no. Debo Solo with the follow, salute. I'm gonna actually scroll through a lot of stuff. M. Harrison with the follow, salute. Sorry guys if I'm skipping. I need to catch up to this chat, man. Jay with the follow, salute, salute. Let's see, man. Justin Andrews with the follow. Jared with the follow. Salute, you guys. What about Texas head coach Steve? I don't even know who that is. You talking about college Texas? Raider Nick with the follow. Salute, man. Crazy C's with the follow. Salute. Damn, man. I'm really Jose X-Ray with the follow. Salute. You guys are on one right now, man. That's what's up, man. Lou Monaco with the follow. Salute. I'm almost caught up. I'm getting there, man. Success isn't built in a year. Nick, if you look at the Commanders had the second overall pick, which means that they sucked. They went out there, they switched coaches, they won free agency, then they stole Cliff Kingsbury from us. They went and they drafted Jaden Daniels, and now they're in the playoffs. So you can turn some things around pretty far in a year. Maybe not a Super Bowl in 1 year, but you can turn it around. Unk with the follow, salute. Boo Davis with the follow, salute. Tom Brady, next head coach. I don't think he could do it, man. Is it Chelo Leon with the follow, salute. Rick Campos with the follow. Dang, man. Getting them follows up tonight, man. That's what's up. Penn State coach for the Raiders. That's the other guy. He is Penn State. No, it was Ohio. Never mind. Ohio offensive coordinator. They're talking about that he's trying to get in the NFL. Raider J with the follow, salute. Don with the follow, salute. Dang. Tanner Jack, I wanted Harbaugh. Yeah, man. I wanted Harbaugh too, but I also wanted Pierce. I didn't really think that Harbaugh was an option for us, so I didn't really get attached to that. The boogeyman with the follow. Wait, the boogeyman is following me. What the hell? Bro, there we go. That's what we're talking about. Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly is another name that's being floated around as a possibility, and I wouldn't be too mad at that. I don't know enough about him to really be convinced, but we need some young blood, one of these young and upcoming minds. But I actually think that they're talking about him being a coordinator, like moving up to a coordinator in the NFL, but I have to go back to that. AFO with the follow, salute. Aaron, give me Teddy Bridgewater. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Getting crazy over there. Okay, Tanner Jack, if Tom Telesco can draft again like he did last time, we're set up. And that's exactly what we're looking at, right? Is that if we go best player available, and we have the second most draft capital coming into the season, which is good. The Brock Bowers was an amazing pick. Jackson Powers Johnson, great. Even DJ Glaze shocked us all. But then after that, it kind of falls off. And I see what you talk about. WTF are we doing at QB? Ain't no head coach lasting with no QB. And that's exactly it, right? I want best player available, like Don is saying. C with the follow, salute. But the thing is that if we don't figure out a quarterback, then it's going to be great to build, right? We build this roster through the draft like how we should have been, because for years and years and years, we have just totally messed up the whole draft. And so since we're messing up the draft so bad, of course we're in the situation that we're at, man. Out of many, many first round picks, Brock Bowers and Colton Miller are the only two that we have left, and then Don, you're right, free agency. The thing that we have moving into this year is that we have 108 million worth of cap. Now we got to bring back some of our veterans, but once we bring back some of those veterans, we're still going to have some money to play with. Anthony, wouldn't be a Vegas miracle, one off-season clean house rebuild, and it all works out in that one season, and it really would be a miracle for it to happen that fast for us. But really, we have some really foundational pieces. Wax with the follow salute. Thank you for sharing. We have a lot of good pieces in place. And so since we have those good pieces in place, really, we're not just a quarterback away, right? We're a quarterback away, a head coach away, maybe a coordinator away, and maybe a running back, maybe a couple other pieces. But Ricardo with the follow salute. But really, if we actually get some of these things in place, we're going to be headed in the right direction. So I'm hoping that we have a head coach that's looking at our situation and says, look, they got Brock Bowers, they got Max Crosby, they got Christian Wilkins, they got Robert Spillane, they got Jacoby Myers, like maybe Dago with the follow salute. Maybe I could come in here, and if I just do this and this and that, then boom, all of a sudden we'll be rolling, right? So I'm hoping that that's what's actually going on. Tanner, part of what I think actually put the nail in the coffin for Antonio Pierce is he said a couple of things in the last couple of press conferences. One of them is he said Aiden O'Connell will be a starting quarterback in the NFL. He didn't even start him this year. Another one is that he said he wasn't going to make any coaching changes, any staff changes. And I bet you Mark Davis saw that and went, what? You're not going to change your staff? No, you're going to run it back with Aiden O'Connell and the same staff that you have right now? What? And he said, nah, I'm good, man. Dude, Anthony, I did not think that Bo Nix was going to be this good. I did not. I thought, man, he's going to be a bust. He's going to be day 2 at best. Then they drafted him, and I was like, stupid Broncos, man. They're going to be in the basement. Guess who's in the basement now? It's crazy, dude. Crazy. CJ2K, take Genty. I like Genty, right? But, I mean, really, what is it that's really gonna do for us, right? Let's say we run it back with Aiden O'Connell. We run it back with Aiden O'Connell. We draft Genty in the first round. Now, adding a running game would definitely help, right? It would definitely help in a lot of ways. Aiden O'Connell would play better if we had a good running game, but let's say we brought in a T. Higgins in free agency, which I doubt he'd want to do that, right? But let's just say we did that, right? We brought in T. Higgins, we draft Genty. Maybe we draft another right guard or some, like stack our offensive line a little bit better. And then all of a sudden, the game is going to flow better. But we're still going to have Aiden O'Connell under center. And I like Aiden O'Connell, and I think that he could maybe get us to the playoffs. But not much beyond that, And so it's like if we can upgrade at quarterback, we have to. CJ2K, set alarm for 10 a.m. We will give up our number 6 pick for JJ McCarthy. He's worth it. If he was in the draft this year, he'd be the number 1 overall pick. So the problem with the JJ McCarthy thing is, I know a lot of people are talking about it, but the Vikings are not going to move on from JJ McCarthy because a lot of people are like, oh, let's go get Sam Darnold. Vikings aren't moving on from Sam Darnold. He has had an amazing year. And so they're going to run it back with him. They're going to see, hey, JJ McCarthy's coming back from this injury. He just had a second surgery on that same knee injury. And they're like, all right, well, we're going to sit JJ McCarthy. We're going to run it back with Sam Darnold. If Sam Darnold flops, well, we still got JJ McCarthy. But if Sam Darnold is Himothy, then they might consider moving on from him. But what's pretty likely is that they're going to hold on to him, and he's going to be like Jordan Love, and he's going to sit for 4 years, before he ever gets an NFL start, and that's pretty. That's what I think is going to happen with that, man. Yeah, Aiden O'Connell coming. He's going to have his third head coach and probably fourth offensive coordinator. If we run it back with him, you know what I'm saying? Let's see, Jeffrey. What's good? What's good? If the Vikings trade JJ McCarthy, I would be worried because that means he isn't ready. So no, I would not get him. It would either mean that he's not ready or they are convinced that Sam Darnold is their guy. Those are the only two options there. Aaron, get Kenny Dillingham, then draft Cam Scatterboo. Scatterboo's looking pretty good, man. I need to watch more tape on him. I was hearing that he's like not like so athletic, but that he just like runs through people and he's got a lot of good traits and he's good at receiving as well. I'm gonna watch some more film breakdowns and stuff on him, but Miggy, what's your opinion if we would get Justin Fields? I think Justin Fields is an upgrade from Aiden O'Connell. I think now that we don't have Luke Getsy, Justin Fields would consider coming here because we probably could have got him if we didn't hire Luke Getsy. But Justin Fields, he's got his problems too. So I think it would be an upgrade, but by how much? Andy Garcia, keep Aiden one more year. The problem is that we fired Antonio Pierce, so we're not going to run it back with Aiden O'Connell. I think that Aiden O'Connell, the only chance that he had at being a starter next year was Antonio Pierce. Lord Spee AP was what Darvin Ham was for the Lakers, just a locker room coach and a hype guy. Yeah, I mean, if he could have just been that instead of a head coach, it would have been legit. Danny D, it's been real, fam. But like I said, if they fired AP, I was done. I mean, I don't know how long you've been here, Danny, but AP is not above the shield, man. He's not. Ain't nothing making me go away from the Raiders, man. AOC, 19 games, 4 offensive coordinators. Yeah, that is nasty work, man. Kilby, I like the idea of Fields, but there's no guarantee of anything. Yeah, man. And I honestly, if I were the Steelers, I'd be holding on to him because Russell Wilson is starting to look like Russell Wilson, right? That's just what it is. Anthony, believe or disagree, I believe Wilkins can be our next dog at defense. I believe Max is gone. He said it himself. If AP leaves, he's requesting a trade. He said that to help him retain his job from interim into the actual head coach. And that didn't go well. What Max Crosby said today, and this is per Mitchell Renz. Honestly, I didn't see the thing from Max Crosby myself, but he said that Max Crosby said today that he wasn't going to be in Mark Davis's ear and he wasn't going to meddle in whatever happens with AP. So I think that Max is already kind of surrendered to the fact that, you know what, AP is gone. Jeffrey, I would love to bring in Mike Vrabel. He made Ryan Tannehill look like a top 20 quarterback. But see, I don't know if it was Mike Vrabel that actually did that because Mike Vrabel is very dependent on offensive coordinators, and he had too many offensive coordinators that did good and then moved on to other jobs, and then he ended up in a spot where he fizzled out, and then it went to shit for him. CJ2K, we get JJ McCarthy, we get Minnesota's number 28 first round pick. They get our number 6 pick. We can do damage with number 28 after we get JJ. I don't trust any of the quarterbacks in the draft this year. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Honestly, I really wouldn't, especially if we moved back to 28 and got JJ McCarthy. I would take a gamble on that. GK with the share. Thank you. Salute, salute. Who the hell do we hire? That's the debate now. That is the debate. Trying to figure out who, because see, I support this move as long as we go out there and upgrade. If we go and get some idiot like Josh McDaniels, I'm going to be pissed. Dino, what about Kyler Murray and draft Genty second round, a tackle? I don't want Kyler Murray, honestly. He's good, but I don't think he's going to turn our franchise around. Michael Thompson with the follow. Salute, man. Let me see. Yep, Jeffrey, look at the stinker game Sam Darnold put up against the Lions. He looked like he was seeing ghosts again. Yeah, man. He reminds me of that one actor. What's his name, bro? He was on he was like the stepdad on Liar Liar, and he was also on the Princess Bride. What's that actor's name, man? He reminds me of that dude. CJ2K, people just want the big names in the draft. I don't trust it at all. I would trade JJ over any quarterback in the draft, even with his injuries. If we're keeping AOC, why not? You know, and I'm not too against that, man. But what I think that the Raiders are actually going to do is I think that the Raiders are going to make a move to get Shedeur Sanders. I really, really think that that's what's going to happen. Patrick with the follow, salute. And I don't want to trade up to get Sanders. I don't. Why pay for something you could have had for free? It just makes no damn sense, you know? It makes no damn sense. Let me see, man. I'm getting behind on the chat, man. You guys are bumping over here, man. I got date night with the wife, man. I thought that you guys were gonna probably be sick of talking about this by now, but you guys are not. Ricardo with the follow, salute, salute. So I really appreciate, man, everybody in the building right now, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all the real ones for real, man. We got some excitement going on. We got something that's happening. James in the building. What's good? He says Dion, head coach, Brady, OC, APDC, the only job he might get, and the players still get to have him in the locker room. Draft Sanders. Yeah, those things aren't going to happen. Maybe Dion at head coach, and maybe we end up drafting Shedeur Sanders. But what it really comes down to, man, is I don't think that we're going to know who our head coach is going to be for until after the Super Bowl, honestly. Now, if they're convinced it's Vrabel, then it could be as soon as tomorrow that we get the news, you know? All right, you guys. I would hate to leave with such a good chat going on, man, but I'm going to go spend some time with my wife, man. It's been a good Taco-Bout Raiders Tuesday with y'all. I'm gonna keep putting out videos throughout the week. I'm not sure when I'll be live again. We got no more games, so I got to make up a new schedule on when my lives are gonna be. It might be Sundays still. We'll see how things go, man. So keep an eye out for me, you guys. Definitely, like always, Nation. I love you guys. You guys have a good night, and I will catch you on the next